Mr. Blackwell, along that line and about waivers, I know Washington is famous for its paper activity, and this is the waiver that's a small community of ADAC. I want everybody to look at this. ADAC had to propose. It cost $150,000 to the FCC that says we can't go with the ruling, we're going broke. And then we have, let's see, we have the waiver here of, I believe this one is from Arctic Slope. I want everybody to again look at the size of these things, you know. And then we have the waiver from Matanuska. We have that waiver. And then we have the waiver from Cordova. And then we have the waiver from Kotzebue. And I can't see Mr. Blackwell or the FCC. And by the way, I really think that if I can, under this proposal, we have a new system of phones. Would you like to speak into that, Mr. Blackwell? Maybe I can hear you now. Now, these things cost $100,000 or more, and they all have the same problem. The proposed rule that you're saying is going to break them. We're talking about this. You take all the land of Alaska and lay it down. You have I believe, over 400 villages, tribal, 227 tribes, and they're being served by these phone companies. And under this proposal, the universal service, the RUS, by the way, is not going to happen. So what I'm asking you is there some way that we can cut out this gobbledygook and make it more simple so they can get their money's worth, because you know this system is not going to work to what you propose. Is there some way we can do that? Because, you know, I would like to see you.
Mr. Chairman, the rules do not require any carrier to hire experts to help them. That's their prerogative, not a requirement.
Well, now, wait a minute. Let's face this. We're talking about rural communities, may not be the greatest lawyers in the world, and you won't accept any of this unless it's written according to your scale and you reject it. There's got to be a simpler form. Now, whose rules are they? Did you make up the rules?
The Commission adopted these rules unanimously.
Oh, big deal. Who is the Commission? Do we have anybody in that Commission that's from a rural area in Alaska? Now, you represent the natives, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you standing up for the natives in this case, or are you standing up for the Commission?
I've spoken with carriers and tribes throughout the United States. I've met with carriers, the Alaska Telecom Association, and with many tribally owned carriers and tribal leaders. Did any of them
support your proposal?
And at each one of them, I've said if they're considering a waiver, one thing they should do is come and meet with us. My office is an open door so that before they start tolling the charges to create such a stack of paper, to come talk with us about what that process will look like.
I know, for one, I've talked to the Commissioner. I haven't talked to you personally, but I've talked to your boss. And I have always been heard that we were going to take care of it. I don't see anybody taking care of anyone. I want to, and along that same thing, again, let's go back to this. Why can't you simplify the inquiry? You say the rules are there. You can't change the rules? The Commission can.
Yes, sir, the Commission can.
The way I figured this out right here, there's $500,000 worth of work here. You say they can't hire an expert. You know, if I was serving a village, or a village was receiving service, I don't have an expert in this field at all. I'd have to find somebody. Otherwise, you're not going to accept what I give you. If they could write out a form and say, you know, this is going to break us, would you accept it? No. So, you wouldn't. Now, I want to ask you another question. The RUS currently has over $200 million in broadband loans in Alaska. $200 million. How does 1 year of $50 million tribal infrastructure fund even make a dent in Alaska, let alone Hawaii or the lower 48 tribes? I mean, even $100 million in a remote fund, this order falls short of the money that will be available. And by the way, who said this system was broke?
For several years, there's been bipartisan action on Capitol Hill.
Who said it was broke? What's broke about it?
Well, right now, we only have a 10% broadband penetration rate in Indian country, sir.
Well, what's broke about it? Is that you're trying to make sure that happens more, and yet the way I'm being told that the fact the money won't be there to do the job. The RUS won't have the money to do the job. And the RUS has not lost money. So what's broke about it?
Sir, the agencies have the same goals, ensuring service in the most efficient way possible with the least cost to the taxpayer. Before and after the adoption of this order, the Commission staff has met with the Rural Utility Service numerous times to understand the concerns.
And who has supported it?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question.
Who supported the order?
The Commission was...
I don't know. Who supported the order from the Commission?
The Commission unanimously adopted this order, sir.
Forget the Commission of the people that service the tribes and serve the rural people. Who's in that group supported this system?
There have been a number of provisions that have been adopted throughout this order. I enumerated them in my testimony, sir, that were supported by tribal nations. I suppose if you'd like a review of the entire comment, we do have a full record on the matter.
I think that would be good because I think, if my information is correct, this has not been accepted at all in the rural areas. And I'd like to know if anybody in the rural area in this room did take and support this concept, because you are not going to be able to provide the service of broadband. In fact, it's going to cost more money just with line phones than it did before. And they won't be able to do the job. And that means my people, bigger land mass and all the land east of the Mississippi River, is not going to have service, which you're saying you're trying to provide. Your urban areas are going to have it. And we're going to go back to the old phone system. I don't want that. My time has run out, I believe.